There we go. So we're recording, just so you know. And I just want to start by telling you tonight's training is going to be on prospecting. And again, this is a series of training that's going to take place over the course of the next weeks. I got some notes off to the side. Sometimes I use a PowerPoint in our trainings and sometimes I don't. And my team, you may be noticing some new faces on the call tonight. And so welcome, Sheila and your team. Welcome to our Zoom tonight. It's great to have you guys. If you guys have met, you've probably seen Sheila online, or maybe Mike, he's here, and Erin Beth, you're here. We've got Jill Pelkey here. So they're joining us tonight. I had the pleasure, while I was up with my folks, which many of you know I've been away for a few days, I had the pleasure of sitting in on just a little team meeting of theirs while I was home. So it's always fun to work with your sideline, and that's what One Plexus is all about. So welcome to our call tonight. And I want to tell you guys, those of you who are on my team, you know this already, but if you're new tonight, we are really informal about our training. We always have a plan, but we also know that sometimes people will have questions, and it's okay for us to kind of sidebar for a second and jump back in. We learn a lot from that, and I don't want to be tunnel vision with what I'm doing, so I'm going to learn if you ask questions. So I really hope you do. Okay. So we're going to start out with, this is for new ambassadors. So this is for, and new ambassadors means a lot of different things. It could mean that you're learning as you go, and maybe you've been on your journey for a while, but you're now just kind of starting to truly understand what you need to do and taking those steps to learn and move forward. Or it could mean that you started yesterday. So that just depends on sort of where you're at. So we're going to start off with talking about just what is prospecting. And essentially prospecting refers to just identifying people who would make great customers or ambassadors to help you build your business. That's what prospects are. Excuse me, they might be team members, but they also may be customers. And, you know, when you get into Plexus and you start to watch people in your upline, you may be thinking, oh my gosh, I really want to rank really, really fast. So I want to build my team. It's all about building my team. But customers are also very, very valuable to have. And, you know, last week we talked a little bit about the difference in revenue streams between a customer and an ambassador and just what that means. Customers bring you faster cash in the sense that it's personal volume. It's a commissionable salary that you're going to get right out of the gate from that purchase, from that customer. Whereas with the ambassador, the revenue stream is more residual income or profit sharing, and it takes a little more time to see the fruits of your labor. But once you start to see it, it'll grow quickly the more you grow your team. So those two revenue streams are really, really great. But don't discount the customer, because it is good to have some customers. And so, you know, it's pretty common for people to have between 1 and 3 customers with Plexus and to be growing their team sort of on the side. And you may have in your back office, when we looked under customer reports, you may eventually find yourself with pages of those customers, but maybe only 3 are really ordering right now. And maybe, you know, it's the ambassador pool that is really growing and staying constant. And that's where the profit shares come from. So when you're prospecting, you're looking for either one. Okay. And I don't think, you know, I think especially when you're starting, it's just getting people to join you in whichever way they're comfortable doing and what makes sense. Okay. So if I'm prospecting to a customer, probably that customer is one that is indicating that, you know, they're just going to try it for a little while. Or, well, what do you think the other time would be that I would send someone to customer? So I'm putting it out there to you guys right now. So I have somebody that I'm talking to, and whichever stream I'm going to talk to them about depends on something. Okay. What is the something? Why would I keep them as a customer, and why would I send them down that stream instead of the other revenue stream?
They don't have over 100 PV.
Beautiful. And that's Jill's commenting that as well. So they don't have their 100 PV. And that's exactly the right answer. And sometimes, people make, not the mistake, but they think, oh, well, if I could just get them to join my team, then I'll get them to take the other products and they'll get over the 100 PV. Guys, it's really easy to transfer people if they decide to go with the 100 later. Keep them as a customer so that you have a profit from them. If you don't keep them as a customer, then what's going to happen is they're going to be an ambassador. And if they're, as you know, if they have under $100 in personal volume, then they're not going to bring you any income whatsoever. They're going to be on your team, but they're not going to bring you the profit shares. So that's just really, really important that we recognize that. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why. We talk about this a lot in Plexus, about why you're doing your business. So my why has changed ginormously over the last year. And I'm sure that if you've been with Plexus for a while, your why has probably changed too. So knowing what it is, though, and keeping it constant in your mind helps you to goal set and gives you purpose and helps you with your belief and your positive mindset. People who are really successful in Plexus, the reason they talk about it all the time is because it helped them get to where they are. Knowing their why, having a positive mindset, and being able to goal set because of those things is what keeps momentum. There's lots of other variables too, but it is the cornerstone to momentum. So, and momentum makes you keep going. It's what excites you. It's what keeps you going, even in times when you're down here instead of up here. Okay? So that's really important. So know why you're doing your business. Make your why visible to you somehow. So I'll show, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but I'm going to show you my wallpaper on my phone. Hang on here. Okay, so you can't really see what that is, but basically that's my dream board. I took a picture of it, and it's my, no, it's not. There it is. It's my screen thing, wallpaper, that's what it is. And so my dream board consists of, pictures of my family. It consists of lots of things, words, family, health, freedom. Because my goal, my why, is that I would like to retire from teaching young. And I took a hiatus from my career when, I guess about 10 years ago. Yeah, it was 10 years ago. I took a hiatus, which ate into my pension and also, had some other ramifications financially. I don't want to pay the government of New Brunswick back for those years that I didn't work. I want to do something. I want to do it a different way. So I do love teaching, but I want to do it on my own terms. And I think it's possible for me to do that. So my why has evolved from, I want to get healthy. So I accomplished that. And now my why is a business why. I really and truly want to retire young from teaching. Okay, don't tell my principal. So that is something that you want to have visible to you. That's something that you want to have within your eyes, line of sight. Okay, so have it on your desk at work. Have it, excuse me. If you work out of the home, if you're a mom at home, then you want to have that on your bulletin board or on your fridge or and all of us want to have it somewhere else in our home, like on our nightstand or on your bureau, or if you have a home office, have it in your home office hung up on the wall. It doesn't have to be a dream board. Okay. It could be, just words. It could be sticky notes. It can be whatever is your style. Okay. I'm personally not a scrapbooker, but I did enjoy making my dream board. I'll be honest. So keep that visible to you, so it helps remind you of that why, and it will help you with your mindset, guaranteed. All right. Stepping outside your comfort zone. Okay, so we haven't really gotten to how to prospect yet. We're just still talking about generalities here. So stepping outside your comfort zone. Um, that's really, really important. If you have that mindset, that proper mindset that we're talking about, which means that you know what your why is and you're ready to go after it, it's going to help you conquer fear. And fear is what gets in our way of success when it comes to prospecting. It's a lot easier to take my book here that's got my list of my 63 people in it. And we'll talk about 63 in a minute. It's got my list of 63 in it. It's very easy for me to just go, oh, I can't. I'm too scared. It would be really easy for me to do that. And guess what? I've done it because I'm scared of a certain person, or I'm scared of fearful that I will be rejected or embarrassed or something. Okay. So over time, because my why has gotten stronger, and that's just from listening to people that are successful in Plexus and going, yeah, you know what? That's not so crazy. So believing in my why, this book doesn't shut anymore. Okay. Like I'm always going to this book. I'm always adding to it. So that's very, very important. And you know what? We all overcome that fear in different ways at different times. And you are walking your own path. Okay. So don't look beside you on either side. Don't look up. Don't look down. Just keep your eyes focused straight ahead on your organization in terms of this fear piece. You will conquer it, and you'll do it in stages. Like right now, I feel like, wow, I finally conquered fear, but I really haven't, because there's still stuff that I'm scared to do. But I've conquered a lot of it, a lot more of it than I had, this time last year or 6 months ago or 4 months ago even, right? So it's just something to keep in mind. The more you face those fears and you go to that chicken list or you go to that whatever, the more you do it, it becomes a habit, just like anything else in life. And you're going to go to it more often. And then that's where the fear kind of dissolves. It goes away. So the more you do that, the easier it gets. Knock down those walls of fear. These are just some notes I've made. Prospect like a champ. Do it every single day. Momentum is created by you, okay? You're the only person who can create momentum. Your upline can't do it for you. Your sideline can't do it for you. And your team can't do it for you, okay? If you're new right now, then you're looking to your upline for support. Support and momentum are two different things. You are the only person who can create momentum in your business. And the easiest way to do it, the best way to do it, the most efficient way to do it is to prospect, is to share. Okay? Okay. The last thing I'm going to say on that is don't wait until you have time. Those of you who attended Super Saturday in Fredericton, not the last one we just had, but the one in January where Jana and, oh, that's embarrassing, the other lady, were speaking to us. And, they said, busy people get stuff done. And how true is that? There's a lot of busy people on this call. You made time on a Tuesday evening to be here because you believe in your success and you want momentum. Wendy, thank you very much, Crystal. It was Wendy Larson. So it's really, really important that you don't wait till you have time. You got to make time. We're going to talk about that too. Okay. So let's talk about the two types of prospecting that there are. There's warm or hot market prospecting. That basically means those are the people you're most comfortable with. They're probably people that you know. Okay. They're the people in your immediate sort of line of sight in terms of either social media or literally, okay, like in your town. And your warm market is a market that you start with typically, okay? Some people start with a warm and a cold. And on our team, we kind of, the way that we train is that we really strongly encourage people to start with both. Because what happens is this. I don't know how many of you guys watched the Tara Castaneda video that I put on the team page yesterday. And for those of you who aren't on the team page, it's new on her YouTube channel, and it's all about prospecting. Okay, so it was just sort of a lead into tonight. And she talks about the ebb and flow that we have when we're prospecting. I'm just going to grab a pen so I can show you what I mean. Maybe I'll grab a pen. This isn't my office, it's my husband's. So if you take, when you start your business, you're here. I'm just going to draw this wavy thing. Okay. So you start here. You're new. You're excited. Okay. And then you build momentum. And people start signing up with you. And this is like the height of excitement. It's like, woohoo. And somewhere in here is when that list that you have, that warm market list, starts to dissolve. And this is where people go, oh crap, because they start to go down this side. Okay. And the oh crap comes from, oh, I don't have anybody else. I'm done. Right. And you've probably heard, maybe you've felt that way yourself, or maybe you've heard somebody say that. What you want is everybody wants to keep doing this, right? Yoo-hoo, diamond. But that's not how it works for anybody. You start here, and this is where ebb and flow. So this is flow, this is ebb. This is flow, this is ebb. Okay? And we all have it for different reasons. Then we get over the hurdle, then we get another flow. Then we get over the hurdle, then we get another flow. So this is the point where a lot of people drop off. And you don't want to do that because you got another one of them coming and another one of them coming, as long as you do the right stuff. Okay? You may have heard people say this business is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple in its model and in the concept of the daily stuff that you need to do. Okay? So we'll get back to prospecting, then we'll talk about that after. So here we are, you're starting out and you build and it's super exciting. And then you get here and your war market's gone, or you think it's gone. Okay. But I would challenge you to take wherever you keep your list. And if you don't have a list, your job tonight is to make one. Okay. Take your list, and I bet you can go to your social media, go to your phone. And if you're on multiple platforms, social media, go to all your contacts on all 3 platforms, 4 platforms, whatever, and look through that list, because I bet there's people that are on there that you haven't actually added to your list to prospect. Okay. And if not, we're going to talk about cold market prospecting in just a moment. A minute ago, I talked about a list of 63. So I want you to think about this for a second. And this is a direct copy from Ame Darling. And I talked about this actually with you guys, Sheila, in Bath the other night. And my team is aware of it too, but I'm going to review it anyway. If you have 63 people that you could contact, we all do. We all have 20 people whom we know need the product, just product. I bet you could think of 200 people that need the product. Okay. We all know 20 people who would do really well by the business, and they need the business. Maybe they want to stay at home. Maybe they're always going on about debt. Maybe, they're upset about, not being able to go on vacations with their kids, whatever, pay for hockey, whatever. Okay. And financial stress is what keeps most people up at night. That's the most common reason that people lay awake at night. The most common reason. Okay. The next 20 people that you want to write down on your list are people who would do the business well and also need the product. Okay. The last 3 people, only 3 people left, is 63. What a funny number. But the 3 people left are people that you would love to go to the top of the company with. People who you might be chicken of, but people who it would be fun to do it with. That you would work well together, and that it would be just this amazing partnership. Those are the 3 people to round out the 63. Okay. So I would challenge you not to ever throw away any list you make. Okay. I've made many lists. Don't throw away your list. Go to a new piece of paper or a new screen in your Microsoft Word, wherever it is that you keep track of stuff, and write down your 63. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start chipping away at that list. And we'll talk about what verbiage you're going to use here in just a moment. Okay. But you're going to do that and you're going to do it intentionally. You're going to put a lot of thought into it, and it's going to make you excited. It really will. Okay. So, all right, so let's talk about, so that's kind of your warm market, but part of that also might be your cold, because maybe you know of somebody or that kind of thing. But if we're talking direct warm and direct cold, let's talk cold for a second. So if you want to prospect your cold market, you really, really need to get ready to talk to people. And when I say talk to people, it can start as a social media messaging thing, but you got to get ready to pick up the phone and talk to people or meet people for coffee or whatever. Because that in itself is the way, like if you can get in front of people in that way, people are 80% more likely, it might even be higher, to join your team, to trust what you're saying, to become a customer, whatever the next step might be for them. Okay. Now, to prospect in your cold market takes some practice, and it takes, remember from the beginning of the presentation, we talked about fear, and we talked about knocking down fear. So here is a way that you can meet new people. If you have the time, and this is something that I can't wait to do this summer because I'm very time restricted right now. If you have time to frequent 1 or 2 establishments where you can meet all new people consistently, it could be a coffee shop. It could be a clothing store where you keep going in and you keep trying on clothes, and maybe sometimes you buy something, sometimes you don't. It could be a combination of those 2 things, and it could be something totally different. It could be a play cafe, like the Play Cafe in Moncton. You know, you take your kids, they play, you mingle, you meet people. It could be, the rock climbing gym place. It could be going to the park. It could be, joining a group of, a community organization where people are like-minded. Maybe it's a scrapbooking thing. It's twice with the scrapbooking tonight. Maybe it's a walking club or a running club or something like that, a model railroad club. And you join that club and you really put yourself out there. You put your phone in your back pocket and you really meet people. You build relationships with people. You friend them on social media. And you're going to grow your network that way. Now, you're not going to pounce on those people in those organizations and you're not going to pounce on anybody anytime. But where you're really going to be able to connect with them is when they connect on social media, and they're going to see what you're doing, and they're probably going to ask about it if you've established a relationship with them. And over time, you give it some time, a period of like 3, 4, 5 months, then you reach out to them if they haven't to you. One of the most efficient things that I have ever done prospecting into my cold market is to hand them my phone and have them and add them as a friend on Facebook right that minute. The other more bold approach is to say, do you want to open your Facebook? Because I'll put myself in as your friend. Like, I'll show you where I am and stuff, and we can connect that way. And you can connect this way too. If you just turn your phone around, we call it. If you do that, you're automatically opening that person up to every single thing that you do in your lifestyle and the way that you brand yourself on social media. Okay. So they're going to see all your Plexus posts, but they're also going to see all the stuff you're tagged in by Plexus people, the fun you're having, and whatever your branding is. The other really, and when I flip my phone around to someone, it's when I meet them somewhere, like at the park or at, wherever one of these places is. And that's a live interaction, right? The last thing I want to leave you with live interaction is, if you don't already own a piece of Plexus clothing or a hat or something, or even like on my phone, I have like a little B Plexus and a Plexus sticker thing. Get something, get some swag. It doesn't have to be, it could be a water bottle. And that's what you carry with you when you go to these places. People will say to you, hey, what's that? And you can say to them, actually, you know what? That's actually one of my career paths and I'm really excited about it. But you know what? I think I don't want to gush that on you here at the meeting tonight or at the park right now because our kids are playing, or at the model railroad gig tonight. I don't want to take away from what we're doing right now. But if you haven't already added them on social media, you add them on social media. If you have added them already, you say, listen, you know what, I'll send you a message later. And then you send them a message, because people like that when you do that. And that has worked for me time and time again. That's why I wear my Plexus stuff everywhere. Yeah. Except to work. I don't wear it to work usually. So that's just something to think about. Another way to prospect your cold market is to join Facebook groups. That, again, it's just like going out, but if you physically can't get out there and do the things that I just described, which I can only really do in the summer, then join some groups and treat them as the cafe or the organization or whatever. So there's all kinds of groups on Facebook for things that you are passionate about. Join them. Choose groups that have large numbers of people. Respond to posts within the group that resonate with you, that are authentic to you, that you can really give back to. So for example, somebody who might be on there trying to get their kid to get rid of their soother. That's me right now. So I have a lot of things I could say about that, or a lot of questions I could ask about that, and which I have done, obviously. And so I don't even friend those people right away. I literally sometimes will even search their name in the page and go and find where they are in posts and get to be a part of those conversations in those posts. And then eventually I'll friend the person. And if they accept my friend ad, I will say something like this. Thanks a lot for the friend ad. I really appreciate it. I've really enjoyed getting to know you. And this is truth. This isn't untrue. You have a lot of similar, likes and things. Thanks for the ad. It's been great, getting to know you a little bit on this group on Facebook. So I really appreciate that. And then I would record that in my follow-up information. And then I would go back after a certain amount of time and say, and make sure that I'm liking and commenting on their stuff on Facebook. That's really important, so that you're visible to them, because then they'll see what you do, right? And you'll become more visible to them as well. So once you have done that for a while, then you can send them a private message and say, I love that picture of your kids today. That was so hilarious. Or, I saw your shot at the gym. Good job, on your recent personal best on the whatever. So, whatever your interest is with that person, you have a connection. And I guess that's the most important thing, because it's all about relationship building. If you go right at somebody with Plexus, they're just not even going to be interested in talking to you. They're going to shut you down. They're going to ignore you. They'll probably block you. So you want to build that relationship first. After a while, if that person doesn't come to you, then just like the live face-to-face meeting with people, you are going to reach out to them after a period of time. And in any relationship, right? If you're building a friendship, you're building a relationship, then you will get to know when that time is. A lot of cold market prospecting works really, really well. And when you hear people say they built their business on social media, that's how they are doing it, is that type of thing. Not just that, but that is one big way that they are doing that. Okay. Joining groups, becoming part of other organizations on social media. It's just like going out to the community volunteer meeting. It's the same platform, same concept. You're just doing it online instead of out and about, physically out and about. Remember to be authentic, be yourself when you're doing this. People can see if a mile away if you're sketchy, or if you're, just looking to get another customer. People see that from a mile away, and they're not going to be interested. I'll give you an example. There's a girl who just finished the 7-day, actually 2 girls who just finished the 7-day challenge with me. Both I would have cold market prospected from my professional page. Okay. And anybody can start a pro page. I know Erin Beck, you have one. Yeah. And I'm not sure on here who else has one. Holly, you have one. You have a pro page. So on your professional page is just a page. You create a page instead of a group or an event, and it's free. And you can start to generate new leads with that page by purchasing sponsored ads, and they're super cheap. It's the most cheap form of advertising ever. If I want to get a little ad this big in my community newspaper, it's like $100. If I want to get an ad this big, okay, that runs for 7 days on Facebook, I choose the demographic, I choose the region, I choose everything. I can do that for $10. I can also reach more people by paying more money. Okay. But what I'm saying is, for example to that, or the way to further illustrate that is, we had a PEI opportunity meeting because some people on my team wanted to go over there. I really didn't have any contacts over there, and I was going over to support the people on my team who wanted to go and do that. So I thought, well, I got to get people out to that meeting too. How am I going to do that? Where am I going to find these people on PEI? Because I only know a few people over there. So, and the ones that I knew weren't interested in going to the meeting. So I created a sponsored ad, and that sponsored ad only ran 30 miles in the periphery of Charlottetown and Charlottetown itself. And I got 4 people out to that meeting whom I'd never met. So how did I do it? As soon as they liked my ad, I sent them a private message. And I said, thank you so much for your like on my sponsored ad on Facebook. It was the one about Charlottetown. And my ad all of my opportunity meeting posters always have a picture of the place they're in. Because the people who live there, they're like, oh, look, Charlottetown's on Facebook. Cool. Or, oh, look, my city's on, that's my city. That's where I live. People like seeing that. And so, thank you for liking my post. It was the one that had the picture of the sandy beach. We're having a meeting there. Have you ever heard of Plexus before? And just by asking them a simple question, I almost always got an answer back from anybody who liked the page. And of all those likes, and I can't remember how many there were, but there was a lot, I was able to get 4 people to physically come to the meeting. Okay. 2 of them have purchased from me, and 2 of them did the challenge last week. I don't consider that purchasing from me yet because it's just a 7-day challenge. But 2 of them are customers. So all 4 were successful. Because if you get people out to a meeting, they're probably serious, right? And how do you get people out to a meeting in a place that you don't know? Or how do you get people out to a meeting when you've exhausted your warm market? How do you get people to listen to you? And how do you find them without stalking people? That's how. Okay, so finding ways to connect with new people by forming some sort of relationship with them. That's how you do it. Now, my cold market prospecting as a result of the sponsored ad was more direct because they liked my ad. And what was in the ad? Plexus. So that makes sense. It doesn't make sense for me to pounce on the person I just met at the quilting organization meeting that I just went to. Doesn't make sense for me to go, yo, quilting was fun. So anyway, I have these great products. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give it time. I got to build the relationship. So I hope that makes sense. And you know what? We talked about time. And we have to make time and all of this. That pro page that I talked about only took me, 10 minutes to build it. And I've tweaked it over time, of course, but it only took me about 10 minutes to build it. And I was posting on it within those 10 minutes. And the other thing you can do with your pro page, you want to invite all your friends to like it, obviously, right? Because people aren't going to see it unless they've liked it, unless you buy an ad, okay? You want to share your pro page posts on your personal timeline. And that lets people go, hey, what's she doing now? Oh, she's got this fancy pants page. I'm going to click on that. Oh, cool. And they will too. You may not know it, right? But they will. All right. The other way for cold message prospecting, we talked about organizations and groups a lot, okay, tonight. The other place is just everywhere. So on social media, if somebody posts, man, I'm dog tired and hashtag insomnia, you're going to send them a message, right? If you see somebody in the grocery store lineup and they're doing that, and you can hear them, that's a really good opportunity for you to talk to them. And that is probably the one that scares people the most. How many of you guys would agree with that? The grocery store, at church, yeah, hands are going up. At the park, everywhere. I put in big bold letters in my notes, everywhere. So if, for example, you were at a store and there's a lineup and everybody's waiting with their card or whatever, and Sally Sue is two behind you, and you hear Sally talking about, she's purchasing this, 5-hour energy or whatever that's called, because she can't manage, her day or whatever she says. I would love to know, if you guys want to unmute yourselves, I would love to know what you would do with that. Like, what would you say to Sally Sue? What would you do? Beulah's unmuted. This is like The Voice. She slammed it. She's going to say something.
I probably would look at her and smile and think about what I should say, and maybe not say anything at all. Typically, I would probably actually walk away and message her later if it was somebody I knew. And I know that's not the right way to do it.
Yes, it is. I think it is. If it's somebody you know, that's a great idea.
And if it's somebody I don't know, that's where that fear comes in of, oh my Lord, what are they going to say? Or are they going to give me a hard time because I said something to them in public?
Yep. Absolutely. Anybody else have anything to say about that?
Come on, you bunch of chickens.
I love it. Oh, Crystal says to everybody, I've chickened out a lot, LOL. We all have. Yeah, for sure. So that very thing has happened to me. That's why I'm using it as an example. And and it was literally those little, I think they're called 5-hour energy, those little bottles of I don't even know what's in them. 5 hours of energy, I guess. People will say things like that. And I don't think I was really listening to people before Plexus, because now I just seem to be hearing it all the time. But this person, I actually got out of line and I went back to the end of the line, and because I wanted to gather some mental capacity to figure out what I was going to say to this person, because I've watched 100 videos on how to do this, but all of a sudden I'm faced with it. Like, what if they gross me out? What if one of my students is standing over there, because this is like the community grocery store, right? And all the employees practically are teenagers. So anyway, I just quietly walked over. I said, listen, I couldn't help what you were saying, or help hear what you were saying about, your energy and stuff. And I don't know what those are, but I know usually I don't think those are probably the healthiest things in the world for you. And look, hey, listen, not that I know everything or whatever. We don't even know each other. I said, but I know of some really great energy supplements, and I would love to share those with you. And I just give them my card. Now, that was the first time that happened to me. If I'd been smart, what else would I have done?
Added them on your phone.
Right. And I wasn't smart. I didn't add them on my phone. And they never contacted me. But some people are going to contact you. And you're going to get lots of no's. We know that, right? But the more no's you get, you're getting closer to getting yeses. What that means when people say that is just that you're actively prospecting. So you're getting closer, right? You're establishing the habit. You're moving forward. You're getting closer. Yeah. Jill said something in a chat. Say something like, I used to drink those too until I found something way better. Love that. Love that.
So what would you say to someone, now this is a good example. One of the girls that I work with,
bless you,
She's very well aware. We've talked plexus several times for different issues. Sitting in the lunchroom and she's drinking an energy drink because she's exhausted, and we're sitting with a group of people. She knows that I do plexus. She knows that I have something for energy. Do I say anything to her? Do I leave it?
She knows you do. You know what I was oh, that's okay, Holly. She knows that you do plexus, yeah. But I want to talk about fear in a new way. Fear runs two ways. There are people who are scared to ask you about plexus. So when that happens to me, I just put on these blinders and I assume that they're scared to ask me, and it gives me power to ask them or to present to them.
Okay.
It may not even be true, but it gives me the momentum I need, or the inspiration I need, if you will, to say something. Yep.
Okay.
Sheila,
Yeah.
how do you think she would react if you had an Edge capsule on you and just offered, would you like to try one? And just give her one for free to try?
That might work, actually. And I do typically have one in my bag.
Just say, okay, don't open that drink today. Try this instead and let me know how you feel.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I love that.
Yeah. Thanks, Erin Beth.
You're welcome. Now that I finally figured out how to unmute myself.
You're doing great. That's awesome. That's awesome. Great suggestions. Wonderful. Somebody say something. Okay, so how are we doing for time here? How's everybody doing?
20 to 10.
It's getting late.
Good.
How's everybody doing? Okay.
Good.
All right. Why don't we say another 5 minutes?
Okay.
Cool? All right. So one other thing I wanted to talk about, I just lost my note here. There we go. So have you guys heard of Big Al's 4 personality colors?
I have heard of them, but I forget what they are.
Okay. Let me grab my book here. So there's a whole book devoted to this, and you can get it probably anywhere, but I know you can get it on Amazon. And there's a whole philosophy on these 4 personality colors, meaning that, there are 4 distinctly different types of personalities, and that there's no crossover in the colors. So the 4 colors are blue, green, yellow, and red. And so Big Al's thing is that we all are one color. So there's no like mix in the colors to get new colors, and I'm a little bit of blue and I'm a little bit of red. The idea is, no, you're all one color. So when you're prospecting, you want to think about a couple of things. You want to think about you, like what personality are you, and what are you comfortable? Like, how would a blue personality approach this situation in the lunchroom, Sheila, right? How would a red personality, how would a green? And then you got to think about your audience. You formed a relationship with this person, unless it's the person in the grocery store line. That's the exception. But for the most part, you formed some sort of relationship with this person. And so you have some idea of what their personality type is. Okay, so let me explain what those are. So the blue personality has big dreams for fast cash. They know how to market. They love to have fun. They love to go on trips. They love incentives. Everything always comes back to fun, though. Fun comes first. They're happy. They're loud. They're the life of the party. They're trendy. They like to be in the spotlight. They're spontaneous. They love to give and receive compliments. They're bubbly. They love to motivate. They love to encourage. They have a big, warm market. So they have lots and lots of friends. They keep a rein on them, though. They may not be as quick to duplicate training, maybe, as some other people, because they feel like they've got to sort of keep their people in a little tribe. They're really good at short-term goals, because short-term and fun go together, right? You can probably think of some blue people that you know, right? I can think of some teammates who are blue, for sure. And they're admittedly blue, because we've talked about these colors before. when you are talking to somebody who's blue, you're going to want to make this all about the fun. So, you're always going to listen to them talk. Let them be the center of attention. Let them be the spotlight. Let them talk about themselves. Never go too long with those people without bringing it back to the fun conversation with them, whether it's about Plexus or anything else, really. You're going to lose them, right? So that's the blue personality. The green personality is the data personality. They need information. They need all the info. So there's a lady who has been coming to every opportunity meeting, every sip and see. She is a professor. She's a researcher, ironically, at the university. And she wanted to know exactly where every single ingredient was sourced in every single product that we had. Do you know how hard that is? She wants, and you know what's going to happen though? At some point, she's going to be all in. And with the green personality, they need time. You got to be patient with them. But once they're in, they are lifers because they trust it, because they know everything they need to know. Okay. They're loyal. They're uncomfortable at large events. So you would not ask a green personality to present at an opportunity meeting. But you would ask the green personality if they could please help out at the door. Okay. In terms of a prospect, if this person is a why, they need all the facts, then you're patient with that person because that's what they need. And you listen, you're patient, you're methodical, you let space happen. You're not hyper in their face with information. And you say, you know what, I'm going to find out about that and I'm going to get back to you. And you are, right? And you're going to do it quickly because that's the data collector. That's what they need. The yellow person, they are the helper. That's the key word. They're a helper. They're a nurturer, counselor, think pastor, think nurse, think teacher. They're trustworthy. They tend to be lovable. Yellows don't want to upset anybody. They want everyone to get along. The world's a sunshiny place. When you share with a yellow, you are telling them about how the products help people and how, you feel so good sharing with people because you're helping people. And that resonates well with a yellow person. They want in on that action. They want to know what that's about. For example, helping a college kid or a single stay-at-home mom, appealing to that yellow personality. Excuse me, sorry. If you were going to invite them to a meeting and they were a prospect, you would say something to them like, hey, we're having a meeting. And I was wondering, would you mind helping me out with that meeting? Do you think you could be the person that gives out the ballots at that meeting so people could sign in and so they could win a prize? So you could help them win a prize. It's all about the helping. Could you help me by bringing a friend to the meeting? That would really help my business. It would help to support me. Support, help. The red personality. The red personality is super focused. They can long-term goal plan. They can short-term plan. Their way is the best way. They love a challenge. They like competition. They always go big. They never go small. They're not afraid to talk about the business. It's all about the financial piece for them. They love to be in charge. They love recognition. They love to be the leader. They love to supervise. The red prospect, you would go all in and you would tell them, you know what? These products are going to work for you. And this is why. This is what they do. And you know what? We're going to get you 3 people so you can get your products for free. I'll bet you that by the end of the month, we can get your products for free. I'll bet you. They love that competition. You're putting it out to them. And the red person's going to see red. They're going to be like, yeah, I want some of that. Right? Reds do not intimidate. And so you can be bold with them. You're not going to scare them away. So prospecting to the color, if you know the color and you've really listened and you're being intuitive, prospecting to the color is really amazing. And it's something that we should all be doing. And if you don't know and you want to get to know somebody, you want to ask probing questions without being abrasive. So you want to ask them questions, finding out, what motivates them, finding out, what their likes are, what their dislikes are, having normal conversations with people, not contrived, normal. So let me give you an example. If I was seeing, let's say I was choosing cheese. I'm back to the grocery store where I'm in the cheese spot, and there's a guy beside me, and he's choosing the cheese. Okay, so, and I'm going to say I'm at my normal grocery store. Okay, and so I'm standing there, and I'm trying to decide what kind of cheese I'm going to get. And Buddy's beside me, and he's kind of pondering too. And I might say to the guy beside me, I might say, "Gee, you know what? I was thinking of trying this. Have you ever tried this cheese?" I'm starting a conversation. He's probably not going to walk away from me. He might think I'm a little left to center, depending on his personality, right? You're going to find out a lot in that first 10 seconds about that person's personality. So there's ways to ask probing questions without talking about plexus, without saying, "Here's my card," starting out. You know what? You're probably, if you're in your town, because none of us on this call tonight live in a metropolis, I don't think. No. And so, you know what? You're probably going to run into that person again. And actually, you've probably seen them before. Maybe you just don't know who they are. Okay. And you can actually do that with people too, obviously, right? Like maybe it's your neighbor from 3 doors down, and they're choosing the cheese, and you're choosing the cheese, and you say, "Have you had the cheese? What did you think of the cheese?" Right? It starts a conversation. So that's how that can play out for you. But I would start thinking about the way you listen to people. Like, we're all listening because we know that that's what we need to be doing. So think about the way that you're listening to people, and are you really hearing what they're saying? And probably you are, but how do I address that person? How can I best reach that person based on what I'm seeing? So those are just, and you ask a probing question about the cheese. And if the person's like, "Oh, this is like the best cheese," like that's a red person. They want you to know everything. They want to be the one to teach you about the cheese. Right. And, that's, yeah. So reading the personality and prospecting to it. And then you're going to know kind of how to gauge yourself and figure out what color you are, according to Big Al and also to Wendy Larson. We all are just a pure color. And I had at Super Saturday, I did a presentation on prospecting. It wasn't this very one, but it was sort of along these lines. And some of you guys were there, and there were people who were really conflicted. They're like, "I am standing in the middle. It's Switzerland. I am not that one. I'm not that one. I'm a combo." And I'm like, okay, that's fine. You be a combo. But if you try to label the one you're most like, that, and be honest with yourself, don't want to be the fun one when you're not, or try to be the fun one if you're not. But seriously, that is probably a really good way to learn to read people, really. And that's what it's about, is being able to kind of pick up on people's cues and know how to keep the conversation going. And then when you get to the plexus piece, you're going to know what drives them, right? What motivates them, what drives them. Excellent. Okay. Well, I did have more, but that's okay, because we can cover that a different day. I think we covered the big stuff. I think we covered, that it's important to step outside your comfort zone. It's important to push the walls of fear down with belief. It's important to do daily activity to move forward and to form habits. So I know some of you are probably following that April Abundance that Krista's doing. And it is, the other night, Sheila, when we met, I passed out some of those, I think it's called, I forget what it's called, stack list or something. But it's basically just daily income producing activity. And you know what? You don't have to do them all the way that it says on that sheet necessarily, but like there's categories. It's probably backwards, isn't it? There's categories. And the important categories are: grow your network, find new people on your social media, and don't, be smart about it. We've talked about this. You want to make sure that you're adding people whom you have mutual friends with. And my formula is at least 20 people. Okay. And if somebody tries to add me as a friend and we don't have any mutual friends, delete. Like, that's my rule. Friend new people every single day. I go for 3, and on the sheet it says 3. Go something simple. Wish everybody a happy birthday. It just keeps you in their algorithm. That's why we do it. That's actually why. Relationship building on Facebook. That just means, liking and commenting. And we're going to do a Facebook next week. We're going to do social media. That's what it's about next week, our training. So, we'll talk about more how you get in people's line of sight on social media next week. Contact 5 new people every single day if you can. If not, if it's 1, great. But make sure you do your 1 every day. Make sure you establish a habit. Habits are hard to break, right? You won't want to break it. I cannot go to bed if I have not prospected. Seriously, it's like brushing my teeth. I just can't do it. Following up, that's very important. Following up with 2 people who you've already spoken with or more. Maybe, you know what? Maybe you're a huge follower-upper and you want to follow up with 20 people a day. Great. If you have a downline, reaching down and supporting your team to 1 active, 1 inactive ambassador, posting every single day on Facebook, and following up with a current customer if you have one. Spending some time in your back office and learning more about product and that kind of thing. If you do a little bit of each one of those every single day, it will take you about an hour, and you don't have to do it all at once. I do mine. I do spend an hour every night, maybe sometimes longer, but I also go harder on each of those whatever they're called, divisions than that. But if yours is going to be, you're going to reach out to 1 person and so on, then you can easily do that within an hour. Or you could break it up. You could do like 15 minutes on your break, or 15 minutes on your lunch break, or, before work, after, whatever. But it's doable. And that's why I said earlier, when they say it's simple, that's what they mean. Is it easy when you get through that ebb and flow thing? No. And those of you who have a team on here, you will attest to that. It's not easy. But you really just have to make sure you're consistent, and you have to make sure you do it and form the habit. Awesome. Wow. So does anybody have any questions or any comments or anything you want to add tonight before we say goodnight? That was longer than 5 minutes. I'm sorry. You guys are so quiet. My heavens. Make some noise.
That was great. And lots of good tips. So thank you.
Oh, my goodness, you're welcome. Absolutely. I'm glad you guys came. You're welcome to come next week if you want.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next week's all about social media. You're welcome, Jill. Next week's all about social media. And we're going to focus on Facebook. We'll also talk a little bit about Instagram, but we're going to focus on Facebook. And we're going to talk about how to regenerate, your audience to make sure that you're getting in front of your entire friend group. How to find people to friend, how to figure that out, not by harvesting your friend's friend list. That's creepy. But we'll talk about all the different ways that you can do that next week.
And that will be around the same time again?
Yeah, usually our trainings are at 8:30, but I was still on the road. I was still in Fredericton at 6. I was like, yeah, this is going to work. So I thought I'll steal 15 minutes. And then we started around 8:45. And there was a little glitchy thing with Zoom tonight too. So I'll figure that out and stuff. So we had to relaunch the link. So yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks. Night.
Night.